Alright, so I'm gonna start this off. This is a wonderful little game. Well, it looked like a wonderful little game called Dream. Now, I tried to stream some of this not all that long ago, and it was just an absolute, unmitigated disaster. The game ended up crashing after I played around with hiding and showing the character model to see if the sound effects of the feet while walking would actually sync up with the feet of the character, and pro tip, they didn't. So I'm just going to give this another little go and see what actually goes on. So what is it? It's a kind of first-person exploration, walking simulator puzzle game about dreams and subconsciousness, and as I said in the stream, which was an absolute disaster, based on my undying love of games like The Void and the Talus Project, this seems, or the Talus Principle, I should say, this seemed like something right up my alley, so let's see if I can actually make it work without crashing it this time when I fuck around with it technically. So let's go have a look, shall we? Yeah, we'll overwrite the start so you get all of the important backstory because it's very, very crucial. I'm sure it's very crucial. Maybe.
Hi, Ed.
Howard? Jesus, it's 2 a.m. What the hell are you doing here?
Mind if I come in first?
Yeah, of course. Sorry. Come in. Let me grab you a towel and a cup of tea? Or do you prefer coffee at this time of night?
Coffee, if you don't mind. Thanks.
Here you go. Dry off with that. Tell me, what's going on?
I'll give you 3 guesses.
As was pointed out, this is basically the start of a very, very bad adult entertainment thing. Guy shows up 2 a.m. at someone else's house. You want some coffee? Yes, I do. Cue the guitar with a lot of wah effects on it, I suppose. As we go into this, I'm going to introduce you to some of the hilarious bugs that we looked at in the stream in this that I just happened to stumble upon immediately.
That same dream again. I really should turn the TV off and go to bed.
Okay, that was kind of the opening point here. Now, something which I noticed on the stream, which was rather hilarious, is if you can mess around with these lights, and you can actually have some rather amusing artifacting with the lights here. So you mess around with the video options, turn the bloom effect off or on, and if you save it, and now, assuming this happens, there is now, as you can see, a persistent light effect from the bloom of all of the lights that will now follow your vision forever. This is brilliant. Look at this. All I can say is thanks, Ubisoft. That is some top quality coding right there. And obviously, when you enable the bloom effect again, it will actually go away. That of course makes the assumption that this game saves your changes that you make in the options menu. I mean, that said it all for me, really, when I started this, and listening to the rain effect is rather hilarious because it is atrociously looped. There's basically a kind of very jarring moment of silence between the looping of the
Well, that's another
of the
show
rain
to
effect.
finish,
It's really, really quite odd, frankly. That's kind of about as far as I got until I ended up walking into the hallway over here. And listen to that sound effect. That banging sound is supposed to be my character's feet. You'll notice, obviously, it doesn't exist now because I'm not walking. As soon as I step forward, it will happen. Look, that's brilliant. Like, the footsteps don't even correlate with where your character's feet are actually hitting or when. It's absolutely glorious. And really, really annoying. Like, if you're gonna have footsteps, have them exist continuously and not just pop in and out of existence.
Turn them off. The electricity bill was huge last time.
So apparently this is a going to bed simulator so far. turn the lights off and go to bed. And one thing which I did notice about this on when I was streaming this, there are no... Can I... It glows like I can interact with it. Oh, there you go. That's a delightful piece of piano music, which persists even when the needle goes off of the record. Wonderful. Seemed strangely familiar, actually. I mean, I've not...
God, it's cold in here.
Yeah, it is. Okay. They really did in this game play the horrendous bachelor guy living alone and really, really fucking miserable with everything. That's not the... Okay, so yes, I can open that for some reason, but not this. So the entire object can be in...
Damn, I'm starving.
Okay, so the entire object can be interacted with, but it just seems to... It really seems to struggle differentiating which part of this thing you're clicking on. Seeing as this game is supposed to be entirely about pointing, clicking, and puzzling, I can't imagine how that's going to be a problem later on, when it fails to be able to tell which part of an object you're clicking on. Christ. Wow, that art, look at that. Why would you even... Can I go outside?
Oh, the garden's in a sorry state
Nope.
at the minute.
Of course not. I get the distinct feeling that since this game is supposed to be all about dreams and subconsciousness, I wasn't sure whether or not this game was supposed to be a sort of... Wow, that character model, though. Was supposed to be sort of a relaxing point-and-click exploration game, which is what I thought it would be, or whether there's going to be some sort of supernatural, stupid, jump-scary horror nonsense going on, although... What I can safely say is,
It's a bit late to go out on a walk.
No, it isn't. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, faggot. Go outside. Actually, no, it isn't. It's half past... It's 11:30, that's it. Right? Go outside. Look at it. It's a wonderful night out there. Look at it. It's actually kind of beautiful. Look at that. You do not see that many stars in most places. That actually looks like a very pleasant place to go for a walk at night. Given the fact that, like I said, I don't know whether this is going to turn into some sort of nightmare thing later on, but it's quite possible that something like that will happen, because there does seem to be some sort of importance to turning lights on and off, and since this looks like something that might be delving into subconsciousness and whatnot later on, that there might be something interesting going on with that. Now, the real question is, do the scales work? Nope, you couldn't even put that little detail in right there. One thing which I did notice about this game, again, you have a lot of light switches. But what I did notice about this game is a lot of the things here that you pick up, you are able to spin them around quite a lot. And one of my favourite things, which there was a sprint button. I can't remember what was my sprint button so I can get around quicker. Strafe, jump, crouch. Left shift. That's really funny because I was holding left shift and I can't sprint. Is it because it's too late at night and I've just lost that ability? But one thing which made me chuckle while I was looking at the texturing throughout this was this particular magazine. Now, someone clearly went to a lot of effort to make this cover actually look like some sort of legitimate magazine or something like that. And then you turn it over and that's what you get. Like, there's no barcodes, nothing on the back. If you're going to go to that level of detail on the front, you should probably, you know, try and do something on the back when one of the mechanics of the game is picking shit up and spinning it around. It just seems like a thing that you would probably want to do. Anyway, I'm just dicking around at this point. I should probably get on with some of the actual objectives of the game.
Oh, crap. Spiders.
Where? There are spiders in here? Oh, you mean those... What the... Pfft. Wow, that is brilliant. Walk into boxes. Get broken. That's amazing. You can't just step up and step down. No, you have to engage the full-on falling animation. Because of course you do. Brilliant. Just point out, this is... Why is this room... I know this is like a utility room, but why is it in absolute, complete and utter disrepair compared to the rest of your house, which seems to be fairly legit? Actually seems to be quite big.
God, it still smells of you in here. Feels like you're here with me.
I'm guessing because, I'm guessing that this is one of those games where you're supposed to go for subtle narrative cues and whatnot, so I would assume that, because this is sort of a fairly, visceral, truly the best kind of monitor. Visceral, absolutely amazing. I'm Computtower, yes, that is another very, very reputable brand. I'm guessing that you're supposed to be reading far too much into everything that's happening in this game, because that seems to be where most of the narrative comes from. So I'm assuming, because this is supposed to be sort of maybe like a father's room or something, because of that picture of the old guy with the beard. I doubt that's just a stock photo that's there for no discernible reason. Howard bedroom, indeed. Oh god, why are you trying to paint over this stripy wallpaper? You need to strip this. You need to strip this wallpaper before you just... Alright, fine. You know what, yeah, just fine, try and paint over it. You know, it'll be an absolute disaster. The colour will constantly bleed through, and you're going to have to do many, many more coats than you would if you just stripped it back to the plaster, smoothed the holes and painted it, but what do I know? I love also how there's an invisible wall here that stops me from walking on the boxes and standing inside the cardboard box. So I can clip up onto this box, not when I walk directly at it, but I can clip onto it when I walk at it diagonally. My god, this... Mechanically, this game so far is an absolute disaster. Well, that's a lovely bedroom. So, what's the purpose of this room?
Oh, man, I'm so tired.
Ah, I'm guessing that this guy is sort of living with his parents then, or maybe he just has a
Still see
shitload
you
of guest
sitting
rooms.
there, writing. Still hear the tap of the keys as you worked.
Also, your clock is wrong. That one says midnight. I assume this is an ensuite. Of course it is. That reuses all of the exact same assets as the other bathroom. Because why wouldn't it? Fix that painting. I don't know why that's a... Wow, that is the best way to interact with objects. I assume that since this game is supposed to be all about the little details and shit like that, that might be a relevant mechanic or something later. This is a TV show that I actually somewhat immediately hope exists somewhere in reality, but probably doesn't. Gravity Animals, that looks so bad. That basically looks like someone's taken Squishables and turned it into a TV show. Absolutely awful. And also, that is totally not a You have a VR headset. Oh, it's an actual Oculus with something on the screen. So right, so that's actual product placement right there. Of course it is. So you could use a nice brand name for that, but are you going to have any other brand name things being... You actually have a fucking Squishable as well. God damn it, you absolute faggot. And sleeping tablets, because of course this entire thing is all about sleep and dreaming. And is that,
Hope
Bibbles?
it's a good dream tonight. Last night's was a little weird.
Of course. So you try to click on that. Nope, your entire bed's bounding box is actually larger than the model of the bed, so you will activate it, regardless of whether you want to or not, because that's how this game works, it seems. Being very negative about it so far. Let's see if I can try and be a little more positive in the future.
I'm sure there are more cubes every time I come here.
Yeah, that is possible. Gotta admit, I do like that. The fact that it kind of looks like sort of a bit of a face when you first appeared there. That was kind of nice. So, can I walk on the white stuff? Yes, I can. Delightful. Okay, so this is like the first of our free-roaming weirdness. Welcome to the state of Dreamland. What I will say about this, and this is what sort of attracted me to picking this up, was some of the screenshots were exceptionally beautiful in their aesthetic. And this one is, this little scene here, I think, maybe demonstrates why that is. Even though it's something quite simplistic, but still quite pretty to look at. While I was ripping on the game earlier for having horrendous textures on some of its objects that you're supposed to be able to interact with, I'm still totally down with letting it off the hook, because it's a starting area. Now, if it's just a starting area, you know, I don't really expect it to be amazing, but we'll see how this goes. Okay, so it's tuppence. Delightful. I've added it to my inventory. Cool. Right. So... So presumably, this is going to be a sort of hub area by the look of it. It looks like we're going to have a series of gateways that open up, because that was the starting area. So presumably, this is going to open up to something later on after I have opened up all of the other hubs and done whatever quests it is that requires me to pick things up and fill all the plinths. Well, I think I've solved the purpose of it. Let's see how correct I am. Oh, it had to be an activatable thing. It can't just be you walk into it and it automatically does it. Because that would have been immersive, and we can't have that. Let's see if we can actually go through this without the game crashing. That'd be wonderful. Okay, so anything that's built of white cubes appears to be a part of the dream world. Now, because I'm me, I'm going to have to inevitably try and climb up all of this and see if it leads to any sort of secret area or anything like that. I'm guessing this game does have secrets and Easter eggs and collectibles, but nope, can't go up there. Well, that makes me kind of sad. So what I will say is it is quite the looker thus far. I'm not normally a fan of things that blur stuff in the distance. I like things to be nice and clear, but this is
Oh, very handy. So, which way first?
Catacombs Graveyard, Catacombs Oasis, the Hollow, Catacombs Clifftop, or a viewing point. Well, clearly we're going to go to the viewing point because I wish to admire the aesthetics of such a game first of all. I want to see if I can break it again because of the bloom, so we're going to stare directly at the sun, which is of course something you should absolutely try doing in real life, and then I'm going to turn the bloom off. I'm going to see if I can repeat that bug. No! No, that bug does not exist for the sun. But it did exist for the lamps in the house. That's rather unusual. How and why that was a thing, I don't know, but... okay, fair enough. I'm not going to question it. A simple investigation station. Well, that is wonderful.
Having a map should help me find my way around. Not that it looks like there's much to see.
I disagree entirely. I would say, given the fact that there is a map here, there's quite a lot to look at. So, Welcome. The park is filled with great vistas and caverns for you to discover. With a rich heritage full of folklore and intrigue, there will always be a new aspect for you to explore. Perhaps you'll see the ghost of an ancient tribe or stumble upon the vast temple under the sand. Who knows what you may discover? Please take a map to find your way. Have a nice day. Beware hazardous weather conditions. Okay, there's a maze entrance and... Okay, so clearly we are there next to the maze entrance, which presumably that big green thing is the big white thing over there. So if that would be the case, we've got what looks like a lot of little sub-areas. If I press... How do I actually look at my map? Again, controller prompts would be really, really helpful. Mouse, scroll up, scroll down. Use inventory, press F. Okay, that's fine. I love how the escape key doesn't actually work to close those menus. Well, I'm... Ah, okay, so I scroll... That is the inventory. This is the... Okay, that... Okay, well that's lovely. Okay, how do I put this away? This is going to be I was going to say, that would be really annoying if I couldn't do anything about that. So, I can use my hand. I can scroll a lot to activate things, and when I activate them, they take 1,000,000 years to appear out of a hologram in my hand, and then they just kind of float there, and I press F to spin it. And what? Then I walk around with it floating there forever. Apparently, there doesn't seem to be a way of controlling where and when it disappears. Maybe I'll have to play around with that a little bit later. Desert. You dream you are a walker through a desert, signifies loss and misfortune. You may be suffering from an attack on your reputation. A desert may also be symbolic of neglect, loneliness, and feelings of isolation. Signpost. A signpost in your dream is usually your subconscious attempting to guide you. If the signpost shows multiple paths, you must use your own discretion to decide which path is most important to you. Well, that's wonderful. Again, the escape key does not work to get me out of that, so that's nice.
Maybe I should keep them. Put them in a book.
Possibly. Possibly. Can I jump up and onto rocks? No, I can't. We apparently live in a world of invisible walls where that is an impossibility. So I'm guessing I can't do the same thing to get up and over there. Of course not. That would make far too much sense. So, let's see what's around, and fuck it, we'll head to the catacombs. We'll see what's over there. I'll say, it does, for a desert, it does still look rather nice. So even in games like the Talos Principle, there were some very nice deserts out there. It's kind of unusual how brown rocks and yellow floor textures can actually look kind of nice. So, let's see if that piece of paper is now displaying things. I'm guessing this is supposed to be your map. No, it's just a... I'm not sure... I'm not really sure what that is. There we go. It just takes ages to actually appear. And there's no "you are here" marker on it. Okay. Well, that's fine. You can go away now. You can go away now. If I just tell it to use my hand, will it go away? Yes. Okay, that's really clunky, but okay, sure, why not? There's a media center. Sure, why not? I don't know what I'm exactly supposed to be doing here, so we'll just wander around, explore, play it by ear, as things normally go.
so much like room 203 at uni. Or my old bedroom.
I like how there was a text error in the little box of text right there. I will say, it is, it's quite interesting that there is just sort of all of this crap around the place.
Oh, look, it's Robot. I used to love that game when I was a kid. What's he doing in this junkyard?
The forced nature of the media studied for study's sake. Indeed, that's
All those TVs remind me of the media storage room at university.
okay. So, are we just going to get more voiceover things from what looks worryingly like a sanitary pad floating in a bubble? Junkyard. A dream of a junkyard shows you feel rejected. It can also represent a desire to rid yourself of bad habits. Arcade. To see or play with an arcade machine in your dream can symbolize fun times from your childhood. It may be looking for comfort and safety at home. It also shows a playful attitude and a competitive side to you. Amps. To see musical equipment in your dreams indicates an expectation of fun times to come. You are focused on enjoying life and all that it has to offer. The dream also represents your talents and your ability to communicate with others. Sure, I mean, why not? This all just seems like a bunch of sort of pseudoscientific nonsense, or just general assertive bullshit, but maybe it will become relevant later on. So let me open the world's slowest map. I understand immersion in video games, but this is grating in its slowness. Come on. Materialize the map. Oh no, it's just that you can actually position yourself in such a way where it becomes impossible to actually see it. What is casting a shadow on this? How is that even... So if you've got the sun in front of you, for some reason that tricks it into thinking that there should be a really, really intense shadow that means you just can't see it. Oh my god, this is awful. So that was the little media center down there, I'm guessing. No, once again, escape doesn't do that, so... No, now I have to select the hand and tell it to use the hand, and then the map might disappear? There we go. I will say, it does still look good, but is looking good going to be
Well,
enough of a
doesn't look too
redeeming
inviting
feature?
down there. Who would even build something so unwelcoming?
Good question. I'm still going down there anyway. Well, because this is dream territory, is this where we encounter nonsense, stupid, evil, subconscious, jump scare bullshit? Hopefully not. Not really a fan of that sort of crap in games. It's just kind of dull, frankly. So this is, an underground maze. Presumably, there's going to be something of interest in here at some point. Either that, or it's just here to mess with you. And get you lost. We'll soon find out. It's surprisingly easy to find yourself lost. Well, thanks, game. Gives me all the hope in the world. It really does seem like that's what this is here for. It's just here to disorientate you and presumably at some point give you a...
I wonder where all of these wires lead to. Is someone living down here?
That's possible. I mean, the only way to find out is, of course, to follow them. I'm guessing that that's what that cue was. Huh. Ah, TV's having a blue screen of death. That is interesting. What would be very interesting to would be to know if this was a language up here, and if we could translate any of that. Maybe we should get on that, or I'll just look it up on a wiki at some point. No doubt someone's come up with it. We're back with a good old Visoral.
The idiot stuck his password and login details to the screen. So much for security.
Indeed. It's nice to know that Thunderfoot is in this game. Dr. Mason, absolutely. So oh, look at that, it's a computer in a computer. Ah, yeah, yay, of course, because why wouldn't it be? Ah, so you only have to click on things once to make it work. One of the more elusive parts of my research is why the smokes behave as they do. What exactly is their motive for existing, their origin, and what, if anything, do they want? Unfortunately, I don't have much to assist in my understanding of this area, but that hasn't stopped me from trying. Firstly, there is the effect of being caught by the smoke, something which horrified us the first time it happened. Those caught by the smoke disappear for 1 to 4 days, only to suddenly reappear in our research area. They will not remember anything over the length of time they were missing, and they will also have a notable decrease in motivation that appears to fade over time, affecting some more than others. So there is some sort of antagonist called the Smoke or something. Great, that's probably going to lead to horror jumpscare-based bullshit. I hope not. In the event of an emergency, the following procedures must be enacted swiftly and without error. The smokes are contained using the biosensitive photon emitters. We're going Ghostbusters mode, apparently. Being semi-ethereal in nature, the smokes cannot fully pass through solid objects or stay still for a prolonged period of time. This works to our advantage during the shutdown protocol. The main computer has a program that will calibrate the biosensitive photon emitter to overload. Okay. Smokes are sensitive to the available light in the surrounding area, so there's a possibility that they may express some aggression during or after the emitter overloads. After all 4 mazes... Okay, right, so once all the containment lights are shut down for a maze and the team member has fully exited, the automatic failsafe will lock the smoke inside. After all 4 mazes have closed, run the program once more and activate the purge command to kill the smokes. Okay. Following test using lights to map the smoke's photon absorber and find and track their movements. Okay. So there is something which I have to do here involving something called smoke that I shouldn't touch. Because, obviously. All of the reading. This is apparently a reading simulator more than it is a video game these days. Dr. Mason, I have had numerous reports filed against your research by your own speedily diminishing staff that have expressed some serious concerns for the current safety protocols in place to shut down the project. Before I raise this issue with someone above my own position, I thought I'd do the courtesy of allowing to explain your own circumstances to me in advance. Everything is under control here, the recruits just easily spook given the nature of my research. It's to be expected. Dr. Mason, I'm afraid your assurance isn't enough in this case, and I would have preferred to have gone over the protocols myself before passing them up the chain. I don't know what exactly you are doing out there, but we can't have you risking the lives of our scientists or yourself, or the company's insurance. Dear Mr. Pritchard, you'll have to forgive the abruptness of my last email, but I forgot that it was company policy to stop doing important research to answer the beck and call of your every office monkey who managed to push the send button that day. Whilst I'll openly admit our current shutdown and withdrawal procedure is rather drawn out and long-winded, it can still be completed by a competent team of 4 in 3 minutes flat. The team I'd like to point out is exactly 10 times faster than the current evacuation record for the company office, should it set on fire someday. Again, I'm not one to point fingers, but had the grant I requested over 2 months ago made it through the sticky taffy that is the filing system the office adopted, I would have been able to implement an automatic version of the shutdown and probably build a simple AI application to do your job for you by now. Lastly, I'd like to point out that you had bothered to read over the file on my research. You'd have noticed that over the safety report filed, when one of the staff members first came into contact with the smoke, was evaluated by research, was deemed... Oh god, this is so lengthy. So very lengthy. Okay, so I have to wonder, is any of this actually important? Or am I just doing this to dick around? Yeah, I have no particular commands yet, so my assumption... So my assumption is that this is kind of hinting at what needs to be done here. And it's going to be something involving trying to find these mysterious smoke things and trapping them within a thing. I have a very distinct urge to go and fact-check all of the maths on these sheets to see if they're actually in any way even remotely accurate. I do not have the time for such things immediately, but maybe in the not-too-distant future. So that would appear to be what the mazes are for. So if I were to go back to this map thing, will that give me any indication of any of this? Yeah, most immersive map in the world. So is... Oh yes, of course, I'm facing the sun, which means I can't see the map at all. So, is this the center point of the map here? The, green point with these 4 mazes that eventually come to the outside? Perhaps.
Oh, hands and knees, I guess.
Indeed. So, my assumption is that I'm going to be able to follow the cables out? Or am I now just going and hoping for the best? Apparently I'm just moving through and hoping for the best. What I will say, while I do appreciate games being a little vague and ever so slowly unveiling their plot to me, this is perhaps a trifle too slow in unveiling its plot. Aha. A light refinement board. Okay, so this is going to be something relevant to working out where exactly all the lights are in poison gas. Well, that seems like one that we want to walk down. I just want to see if this warning sign is something necessary, although... Yeah, okay, so apparently being in here will cause me to presumably very slowly die, which is why I'm slowly tilting myself over in a way that doesn't really seem like a very healthy way of doing things. More mazes. More mazes with very little indication of what anything is. Now, I do appreciate games that make you work out what you're supposed to do rather than just spoon-feeding everything to you, but a slight indication of what you're supposed to do might be helpful in this. For now, it really does seem more like a walking simulator than anything else. So I'm guessing I need to return to the original outside area and then find my way there at some point. So I think this was the original way. Yes, because I followed the cables. And now I just have to try and find my way back out, perhaps, somehow? Or am I destined to just roam around here forever because I have the least helpful map in the world? Or I wonder if the game mocking you and saying it's very easy to get lost is its way of saying, congratulations, you're lost. If you walk onto this text, I will teleport you somewhere useful. Or I could just take these stairs. Okay, so apparently that maze is actually not very hard to... not very easy to get lost in. Just keep walking and eventually you'll find your way out. Good to know. Well, this really hasn't given me much indication of what I'm supposed to do, or how, or anything like that. maybe I will leave off and come back after a little bit of game faxing and try and work out what the ever-loving fuck I'm actually supposed to
Ooh.
do.
I wonder if my doppelganger sleeps here.
Huh. Well, is this, can I interact with any of this? Is this in any way relevant? No, this is increasingly walking simulator-y, just like, go find things and maybe... Interesting that... Oh no, I think that's just a light. No, that's actually an arrow, I think. Kind of. Maybe I must wander around a little bit more and actually work out what it is that I'm supposed to be doing, but I cannot help but think that that will be relentlessly boring to record, so I'm gonna go get maybe a slightly better idea of what I'm supposed to do, and then I shall return. I am intrigued by Desert Park, the graveyard. Okay, well, I'm intrigued by what this might have to offer in the future, absolutely.
Oh, good. A graveyard.
Yes. So this does seem like some interesting little puzzles will abound, and maybe we'll start looking at some of those a little bit later. But for now, I do believe I'm going
really
to say
hope
that
my god
that's...
doesn't materialise when I get this right.
Yeah, it probably will. I've got to admit, I love the number of bugs in all of the little text boxes in the subtitles of this game. This is... Thanks, EA, you really have outdone yourself. This is absolute triple A Game of the Year edition shit going on here.
Graveyard? Must be for the camels.
Of course. Well, screw it. We'll continue with this at some point in the not too distant future, and maybe I'll actually work out what the hell is happening.